Just how bad is it here in the swamp in Washington, D.C.? Why is it that the most successful president of the modern age, by any metric, whether it's national security, whether it's economics, whether it's peace deals in the Middle East, is being undermined day in, day out, not just by the fake news industrial complex, but also by those inside his administration? As a former deputy assistant to the president, I'm going to give you examples, real evidence of just how bad it is and who those enemies are at the highest level of the Trump administration. The COVID relief bill battle continues and is a perfect example of what we are going to discuss tonight. Why? Because the president said, no, not on my watch. $600, it's crumbs. And he's prepared to use his pocket veto. He is prepared to let this huge 6,000-page absurdity, this monstrosity, to have the clock run out on it and see it die a death on Capitol Hill. And he's asking for $2,000 in emergency funds for the Americans who are suffering so much because of a virus that came here from communist China. Now, why is anybody surprised? Why is the legacy media shocked at what the president has said in the last 24 hours? Well, I guess they weren't paying attention. Let's go back to the crucial moment, January the 20th, 2017, at 12 o'clock, when a man who had never run for public office before was sworn in as the 45th president of the United States. The moment when Donald J. Trump became president and spoke to the world and the American people with a very simple message of why he ran for president. Let's play that tape.
So to all Americans in every city, near and far, small and large, from mountain to mountain, from ocean to ocean, hear these words: you will never be ignored again. Your voice, your hopes, and your dreams will define our American destiny. And your courage and goodness and love will forever guide us along the way. Together, we will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
That message is why Donald Trump had to be destroyed, because he wasn't talking platitudes. That wasn't empty political rhetoric. He meant it. There was a moment during the campaign, I think it was in Wilkes-Barre, PA, where he won the election as far as I'm concerned. He asked the audience, do you know what Hillary's campaign slogan is? And they looked at each other and they shouted back, I'm with her. And he said, yes, that is Hillary's slogan. My slogan is I'm with you. And he has been for 4 years. That's why we have seen the flourishing of America. That's why we have seen industry come back. Until the Chinese virus hit us, we had the greatest economy the world had ever seen. Not just in our history, but that the world had ever seen. With the lowest unemployment since 1969, from before when I was born, the lowest unemployment ever for Black and Hispanic Americans. But how did he do that? Because he bucked the trend, because he pushed back, because he believed that he was there for the forgotten men and women of America. But from day one, he had to be undermined by the interests that wanted politics as usual, the mutual back-scratching of left and right. I said it when I was in the White House. I've said it since I left. Donald J. Trump won despite the GOP, not because of or thanks to the GOP. And from the very first day when we walked into the White House, the sabotage was underway, not just by the Obama holdovers, the illegal surveillance of Crossfire Hurricane, by Comey, by Brennan, by Clapper, not just the attempt, the successful attempt until recently to set up a three-star general, an American hero, Mike Flynn, but actually by those who said they're working for the president as Republicans or as former military personnel. Now, I'm going to talk about something very personal here today, and it's personal to the man whose name is upon this show. Greg Kelly is a devil dog. He's a former Marine. He's a combat fighter pilot. And I, myself, have to discuss some Marines who are bad actors. I love the devil dogs, but let's talk about some of the most dangerous. There's a man who is known as Mad Dog Mattis. You can see him here in a photograph with, surprise, surprise, yes, there he is with his bells and whistles, with his medals, the man who I call Lap Dog Mattis, a man who hated the president, and he made it very clear. After he was fired from the administration, within just a matter of weeks, he made fun of the commander-in-chief. Very strange, because you can disagree with somebody politically, but if you're a sworn member of his cabinet who's just left, what does it say about your honor, about the oath you took several times as a military man and as a civilian, that you ridicule the active commander-in-chief? That's not the Marines I got to know. Or how about John Kelly, also a retired Marine general, an individual who came in as the chief of staff for the president? This man was even worse. On my show, we had Corey Lewandowski. I don't know if we have available the video clip of when Corey came on my show. Corey Lewandowski is very close to the president. He actually has just been appointed to a Pentagon board. And he told the story on my show of how John Kelly tried to physically have Corey Lewandowski thrown out of the White House.
I had the opportunity, and I have had many times, to go inside to see the president and spend a little time visiting with him. And John Kelly was so jealous of my relationship with the president that while I was in the Oval Office one day, I stepped out so the president could take a call from the current director of the FBI. And as I walked out of the room, John Kelly said, "When he gets out of there, you throw him out of my building." And I said, "Hey, John, this isn't your building. This is the people's building." Wow. And he whipped around, and he had fire in his eyes, and he grabbed me, and he threw me against the wall. He ripped the buttons off my coat, and he said, "You'll do what I tell you."
You'll do what I tell you in my house? Who do you think you are, John Kelly? You've never been elected to any office, not county dog catcher. That's not your house. That's the people's house. And you worked for the President of the United States until you were unceremoniously kicked out of that building. And it wasn't just roughing up Corey Lewandowski. This man, I can attest to, used the clearance system in the White House as a political weapon. He tried to deny clearances to people who were MAGA loyalists, who were there to serve the president and his agenda. He tried it with me, and he failed. And when I last saw him a few weeks ago at Mount Vernon at a fancy reception, I didn't expect him to be there. I walked up to John Kelly and I said, "You tried to take my clearance away, but you failed." And that arrogant old man said to me, "You should never have had one." Well, sorry, General Kelly, not your call. You don't get to make those decisions, and you are one of the never-Trumpers who were inside the building. But we got rid of you. And this is personal to me. I spent 2.5 years teaching. I was a professor at the crossroads of the Marine Corps. I spent 2.5 years teaching the devil dogs. We have a photograph of me from Quantico where I was honored to teach and learn from thousands of officers and senior NCOs, people with multiple rotations in and out of theater. And I learned from them what it means to be a Marine in America and what honor meant to them. And none of those men and women would behave the way that either Mattis making fun of the commander-in-chief or Kelly saying, "This is my building and I'm going to kick you out of here." It's not what a Marine does. But that's how bad it has become. That's how politicized this Washington, D.C., this fetid rat swamp has become. But it's not over. Right now, we see the fight continue. We're going to spend the next hour giving you the evidence of how the fight continues inside the White House, how it continues across the courts of the land as we challenge an election that clearly was stolen. Once again, everyone who's honest with themselves, everyone who's got a pulse and isn't senile like Beijing Biden. Did you see him at that press conference shuffling off the stage? Everyone knows that there's no way on God's green earth that a man who is cognitively challenged, hiding in his basement for 7 months, not only got more votes than Donald Trump, who got more votes than any president in history, but also he got more votes than Barack Obama, the first black president. Absolute lies. It's not over. It's not over. I'm not going to give anyone out there false hope, but it's not over.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.